Hello and welcome. I'm Sulaiman later tonight. ECOWAS delegation meets INEC chairman on preparations for next month general elections. Promises to work with the electoral body to ensure successful polls. Concerns mount over the conduct of the forthcoming general elections as groups sensitize Nigerians on violence-free exercise. Presidential candidates of the APC and PDP continue their tour across the country with more promises to fast-track Nigeria's development. And coalition airstrike kills chemical weapons expert working with Islamic State in Iraq.
Business news tonight. Federal government targets $1 trillion in power sector over the next 30 years.
And sports news, Serena Williams outclasses Maria Sharapova in straight sets to win her 6th Australian Open title and 19th Grand Slam.
Well, next month, general elections in Nigeria has continued to generate concerns across the world, with different organizations seeking to know how prepared the country is in handling the exercise. The latest delegation is from the Economic Committee of West African States, which has met with the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Atahiru Jega, in Abuja ahead of the February polls. After a closed-door meeting with Professor Jega, the ECOWAS delegation told journalists that it is satisfied with the Commission's preparedness and promised to work with it during the polls.
Members of the ECOWAS Election Observation Mission at a meeting with the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission.
So we have Madam Awa Bala, who is election expert from
Professor Atahiru Jega is the chairman of the ECOWAS Elections Observers Committee, set up by the ECOWAS Commission to ensure peaceful conduct of credible election within the region. Professor Jega used the occasion to solicit for the support of all for the success of the February 2015 general elections.
We have also said consistently that all stakeholders need to join hands in order to ensure the actualization of the aspirations of Nigerians for free, fair and credible elections. And we therefore look forward to the February elections and the role of every stakeholder in making them successful, free, fair and credible.
After the opening formalities, the meeting went into a closed-door session. Their discussion during the session centered on INEC's preparation for the forthcoming election.
Mr. Jega is highly respected by ECOWAS. He's one of our distinguished chairs of electoral bodies in the region. And so we do believe that those implementations that he has put into place will be very, very productive and very helpful to the electoral process here.
The ECOWAS delegation also promised to work with INEC to ensure that the election is a success.
I think what we discussed are very positive and it will support the electoral process. And ECOWAS will work closely with INEC to ensure that this process meets a successful end.
Nigeria will lead 4 other West African nations that will be conducting general elections this year. The ECOWAS delegation is hoping that Nigeria will set the example for others to follow.
In the meantime, taxi drivers in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, have joined the groups and individuals calling on candidates of political parties and their supporters to shun violence and vote for peace during the February polls. The drivers gathered in their dozens at the Unity Fountain for what they called a drive for peace. They also say the Goodluck Jonathan administration has impacted positively on them and are poised to mobilize support for him.
Nigeria's general elections are only 2 weeks away. Political parties and their supporters have less than 14 days to canvass support for their candidates. In Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, the Association of Painted Taxi Drivers are the latest to canvass for peaceful elections and rally support for the incumbent president.
As a patriotic Nigerian, even though I have my interests in the re-election of Mr. President, Nigeria must exist beyond 2015. So what is basic is that if politicians decide to make peace, it would be.
Aside from rallying support for the president, this group says the exercise is also targeted at sensitizing members and other party supporters on the need to vote peacefully during the polls.
The rich men who have made so much money will not go on the streets to go and fight or destroy properties. It is the youths. 2015 election or election generally is not a do or die affair. If everybody must win, then there is no need for election.
I think we all know that PDP is a very peaceful party, and so are their supporters. You know, the supporters of PDP, we embody peace. You know, if you go around, you don't hear about us turning pure water sachet to anybody that comes to our state. So for PDP, you should be rest assured that we are not violent, so you can expect peace and calm and everything from us. However, the other parties, we can't vouch for anybody.
Nigerians will go to the polls on February the 14th for the presidential elections and February 28th to elect governors and legislators in the states and at the federal level.
Well, no doubt a busy political space it is ahead of that coming elections. Hundreds of members of Justice Development and Peace Center, a social arm of the Catholic Church, has staged a rally to sensitize the public and participation and draw its attention on the need to promote violence-free polls. The over 3 hours walk began from Maryland roundabout and culminated at St. Leo's Catholic Church in Ikeja, Lagos.
We set out to allow people to understand what we are out here to do, to understand the fact that as the electorate, we are supposed to come out. We are not supposed to be pessimistic about what's happening in the country. We know that there is really not much to look out for, but we are here as a sign of hope to let people understand that enough of the pessimism. We should be optimistic. We should believe that something good can come out from this election, knowing full well again that most times, judging from what we see in the past, you find out that only the elites really do not actually come out to vote. It's the masses on the streets, the vulcanizer, the barber and all that. They are the ones that actually come out, and they are the ones that people use for political talks and things in that direction, the young people. So that's why we are taking it to the grassroots, we are taking it to the streets. This is just one of the many times, of the many things that we are set out to do for this period as a build-up to the election.
So much tension generated by this election, so many threats from various sectors of Nigeria, sections of Nigeria and so on. So much sentiment in terms of tribal, ethnic, religious sentiments and so on. And we are telling Nigerians to vote wisely. And vote wisely means that you don't vote on the dictates of personal, of ethnic and sentimental considerations. Vote on the basis of, the candidates, what you know about the process. This is the essence of what we are doing.
Well, in continuation of its presidential campaign, the All Progressives Congress, APC, today stormed Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, in Nigeria's north central, to woo voters ahead of the elections next month. A large number of supporters turned to show solidarity with the party, while the APC leaders promised not to disappoint them to bring change if voted in. In other rallies, the APC governorship candidate in Kwara State and its counterpart in Rivers State also took their message of change to the people.
It's about 2 weeks to the presidential election, and the All Progressives Congress APC has intensified their campaign to woo more voters ahead of the election. The campaign train, made up of the presidential candidates General Muhammadu Buhari, as well as other party leaders, make a stop in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, where a crowd of supporters in their numbers have converged to receive them.
People all over the country want change, because for 6 years, our president, Jonathan, had made promises to us. He He promised us, I'm not saying, I'm quoting his words. He said that there will be power. That there will be power in Nigeria, and if he cannot do it in 4 years, he will never be able to do it. Has he done it?
It's all about change for the party, and that is the message they have brought to the people of Kwara State.
Too much corruption, too much stealing. General Muhammadu Buhari, by the grace of God, President of Nigeria, May 29, 2015, will stop corruption.
The presidential candidate, Muhammadu Buhari, continues to give them reasons why they should vote for the APC.
When I look at all the crowd wherever we go, and the statistics confirmed it, more than 60% are youth, and they are unemployed, whether they have been to school or not. This is very, very dangerous for the nation state. And the best way to tackle that, we believe, is to go back to the land that's farming, fishing, waterways, and then the infrastructure.
At the rally, the party's flag is handed over to the APC governorship candidate, Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed. Meanwhile, the governor, in continuation of his campaign across Kwara State, in company of the leaders of the party, earlier visited Oro and Ajashe Ikpo, both in Irepodo local government area of the state, to canvass for votes. They met with the Olupo of Ajashe Ikpo, Oba Sikiru Atonda, to seek his support. At the campaign ground, the governor and the party leaders promised the crowd that having performed in the first term, the government will do more if re-elected. In Rivers State, the APC governorship candidate Dakoko Peterside leads his campaign train to Abonema in Akukutoro local government area of the state, where he promised better governance if voted in.
The issue of employment creation. If we don't build cottage industries in Akuga, we will not be able to create jobs. God gave us oil and gas. Now, I hear that they want to move Carton Channel to another state. Please, our people will benefit from our God-given oil and gas resources. And in addition, we are going to build cottage industries here, including a fish farm, so that we will empower Abonima and Akulga people.
With the turnout of supporters at these rallies, the party is hoping for victory come February.
And part two, after the break, Channels Television, Arise Television, members of the Newspapers Proprietors Organization of Nigeria, youth and social media organizations stage debate for the presidential candidates on February the 3rd. Stay with us.